What's going on, everybody? This is Greg with Higher Function. Providing entertainment is simple. What we do is based on a higher function, and today we have another review for you. We're going to be talking about Spider-Man Homecoming. Just to clarify, this is a non-spoilers review. We're not going to be talking about any big plot points or plot details. You can go into this with a fresh perspective. This is just a general overview of the film. As usual, we'll tell you what was good, what I thought was not so good, and also the parent's guide and things to discuss if you are thinking of taking your child or your family to go see this movie, and some important things to discuss afterwards. First and foremost, Spider-Man Homecoming. Oh my goodness, this was exactly what I thought it was going to be. A giant fan filled letter to the people that have just wanted this for the longest time, to see Spider-Man in the MCU where he belongs, at home with Marvel. And honestly, I wasn't sure how the arrangement was going to work out with Sony and Marvel, with Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal, but they made one amazing movie, and it was mainly due to the three things that I'm going to list right now. First and foremost, Tom Holland as Spider-Man and Jon Watts directing. Those were the key components of this movie, and they paid off so well. Tom Holland is essentially the most relevant actor when it comes to Spider-Man. I know everyone's going to say, oh, Tobey's the best or Andrew's the best. Tom captured everything about Spider-Man and Peter Parker perfectly, and that's why I think he's going to be remembered as Spider-Man for a very long time. Even if Sony decides to reboot Spider-Man in the future, I'm sorry, but Tom's place in history as being, the MCU Spider-Man is going to stay around for a long time. And Jon Watts directing. Basically, when Jon Watts was saying he wanted to make this movie, he pitched it to them as Spider-Man directed by John Hughes. And Marvel said, we like that, we're going to do that. And it paid off because, yeah, the tone of the movie, where it's set in high school and it's very, very much encapsulating that, it feels like a very different Spider-Man movie. I think the other ones were basically he's only in high school for a couple of scenes, maybe a couple of hours, because they're just oh, he gets his powers in high school, but then we want to get him out of high school to make him Spider-Man. But that's the whole thing that makes Spider-Man who he is. He's a kid playing superhero. So yeah, he should be in high school. Keep him in high school as long as you possibly can to get those good stories, because this is probably one of the most relatable Spider-Man stories because of the fact that he's in high school all the time and he's dealing with a lot of teenager things that we didn't see in the previous Spider-Man films. Maybe a little bit in Amazing Spider-Man 1, but not as much because, well, again, Tom Holland playing Spider-Man, playing a 15-year-old, yeah, I can believe that, as opposed to Andrew Garfield playing Spider-Man as a 17-year-old when he was almost 30. So yes, kudos to Marvel for getting Tom Holland and Jon Watts' vision for this film. It paid off so well, and I'm so thankful that this version of Spider-Man is truly where he belongs and has him grounded in reality, basically. And the MCU integration is probably the key thing that made this movie work so well. There's lots of drawbacks to the Avengers and previous films, especially Civil War, like what happened when, Spidey got recruited in Captain America, the last one. But yeah, I still feel like that was smart integration because they really want to make Spider-Man feel like he's part of this world. And also the fact that the MCU is so bankable, I think Sony really wanted to make good use of that. Just yes, we're in the same world now. All the kids are playing in the sandbox at the same time. So it's a good thing. I think it was really good the way that they handled that. And I'm really thinking that added to the movie and the pacing and everything. Yeah, I just have to say it was thoroughly enjoyable, and honestly, I don't want to say too much without giving away too much plot details, but yeah, it was finally good to see this type of story in the MCU where we got the billionaire superheroes, we've got the gods, we've got the crazy scientists, we've got the soldiers, and now we've got a 15-year-old kid running around, climbing on walls and spraying webs around. And honestly, this one feels like the one superhero film that we can look at and just be like, you know what? I can see myself in him, and it's a little bit more relatable, and it's great. It pays off so well. Now on to the things that were not so good about the film. Now this is just my opinion, so you can take this with a grain of salt, but the product placement. I know that Sony is trying to make money off of this, but I was a little annoyed about how often I saw, like, just an Audi running around in the background. I really feel like this movie was trying to be like, oh, you see an Audi? Spider-Man's driving an Audi, you should get an Audi, or something like that. Like, I don't care. I want to see Spider-Man. I don't want to see a commercial for something else that you're trying to sell. So the fact that that was, like, ingrained so much into the movie kind of took away from the feel, and like, I knew it was Sony just trying to basically, you know, it's their marketing, their financing, but like, I do wish that that wasn't in the movie, but I understand why it was there. It's just, yeah, that's just my opinion on it. The product placement was a little off. Another thing that was not so good was the mystery surrounding Zendaya's character. Now, Zendaya plays a character called Michelle. She has not lied about that. She has not signed a non-disclosure, and basically she had to hide her character for the movie. She plays a girl named Michelle, but the fact that they had to, like, basically, there was so much controversy surrounding it, like, she was going to be the MJ character, but part of me was just like, come on, guys, come on. Like, all of the hype or the anger directed towards that, I feel like it was not worth it. It was not worth, like, making her character such a mystery, and also giving her very little to do. Like, honestly, she was good. She stole every scene that she was in, but, like, other than that, I feel like her character is meant to be somewhat of a MacGuffin or a red herring, like, to distract from what was actually going on, and I feel like that could have been handled a lot better. And honestly, I think she's a great actress. I think that if they're going to use her in future movies, like, it's smart, because I feel like she's got good appeal with people, and, you know, just kids like her. So, you know, good on you. But the whole mystery and with her character, I feel like it was unnecessary, and it didn't add anything to the story. And the third thing I'd have to say was the hot Aunt May overkill, because I know we made jokes about it when Marissa Tomei got cast. We made jokes when Civil War came out and Tony's on the couch with her and they're flirting and whatnot. But yeah, they threw a hot Aunt May joke in the movie one too many times, and part of me was just like, guys, just get over it. Just get over it. Marissa Tomei is Aunt May. She's slightly more attractive than the previous incarnations of Aunt May, but get over it, okay? The movie is called Spider-Man. It is not called Aunt May, although Sony was at one point trying to see if they could get a movie like that off the ground. But no, get over the fact that you find Aunt May attractive, okay? I still feel like, you know, her casting her, she played well with Tom Holland. They got good chemistry together. She's got good chemistry with the other characters, so, you know, it was good. I just didn't need a hot Aunt May joke thrown in there, like, one too many times. Now onto the parent's guide, or things to consider if you are a parent thinking of taking your kid to go see Spider-Man Homecoming. First and foremost, violence. I'd have to rate violence at about 3 out of 5. I mean, it's still a Marvel superhero film. The violence is going to be up there. I mean, it's not quite at the same level as Avengers, but because this is a ground level superhero film and this feels very much more real world and not as, you know, as crazy dynamic as the Avengers, yeah, it got pretty gritty at some points, and I do say that this one Spider-Man film, it was pretty violent. I think it's about the same level as some of the Raimi films, not quite as intense, but with that same level of nit and grit that the Raimi films had. So yeah, violence is definitely up there. I'd have to rate language at about a 1.5. There's a couple of curse words here and there, and one bleeped out instance of the F word. Not gonna say where it is, but yeah, like, just be mindful. There's light swearing in there. There's not a whole lot. I know Sony's been really careful about not putting too much swearing in their movies, so like, it's not too bad. Mature content. There's a few references to a couple of sexual things, like I said before, the hot Aunt May jokes. There's a few things, but yeah, nothing I think too distracting or, you know, disengaging from the plot. So overall, I think it's fine. Now on to things to discuss with your kids, or lessons to discuss with your kids if you're thinking of taking them to go see Spider-Man Homecoming. The importance of doing the right thing is very much ingrained into the story, whereas Peter Parker explains, yes, in Captain America, you know, when you can do the things that I can and you don't, then the bad things happen. They happen because of you. This whole great power, with great power comes great responsibility spiel, that's ingrained very much in the story because of the fact that, you know, he wants to be at the Avenger level, but he's not there yet. And he still says, you know, okay, I still see that there's something wrong, and I'm gonna do something about it. And that is something I think you can teach kids very, very prominently. Teaching kids that even when no one else is willing to go along with you or see things your way, and you know what the right thing to do is, you have to go ahead and you have to do it. That is very, very much a great lesson to be learned from this film. Second thing to discuss with your kids is staying in school. Now, I know that Spider-Man is supposed to be 15 years old, and yeah, if you give a 15-year-old kid superpowers, they're gonna want to just be a superhero all the time. They wouldn't want to go to school. But yeah, kids need to know the importance of education, of staying in school, getting their education, and yeah, I still feel like Spider-Man does stress this for the sake of, you know, I don't want to get into plot details, but yes, the importance of staying in school is very, very much a key part of this movie, and the fact that it's a high school movie, and we're going to keep Spider-Man in high school as long as we can, so because I think Tom Holland can keep playing a teenager for the next 3 or 4 years. But yeah, the whole importance of staying in school is a very prominent theme in this film, and I do think kids can learn from Spider-Man saying, you know what, Spider-Man's going to go to class, he's going to go to school and do his homework, I'm going to do that too. So definitely something to be learned there. Be the hero. Like, you are the hero, not the suit. Now, this is something that I've thrown into birthday parties when I've done birthday parties as Spidey. I like to tell kids that you don't need a costume to be a superhero. That being a superhero starts with what's in your heart. And I actually really surprised that they threw that in an actual Spider-Man movie where, you know, it's not about the suit. It's not about the tech that you have. It's not about your gadgets. It's not about having all this fancy stuff, but it's ultimately comes down to you making a choice. You deciding that I know that something is wrong and I'm still gonna fix it, or I'm gonna do something about it, or I'm gonna stand up when no one else is. And I think that's something a lot of kids need to have the courage to do. I know it really gets me because this movie hit that perfectly. And I know I got emotional when I watched the trailer. If you saw my last video, you know that happens to me when I think about Spider-Man. But oh man, like, overall, the movie's amazing. I'm so happy to see Spidey at home where he belongs. It was so great to see Marvel and Sony come to this deal where they can share the character. It's fun for the family. There's a great story. It's different. It's heartfelt. It's a love letter to the fans. It's a fresh take on the superhero genre. I'd have to say, without a doubt, this may possibly be the best superhero film to come out this year. We don't know yet. We still got Ragnarok and Justice League later, but this is definitely the best superhero film I've seen this year so far, and I can't recommend it enough. And just welcome home, Spidey. So Spider-Man Homecoming is going to be getting an A+ from me. Thanks so much again for watching this video. If you're new here, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share for more information on Higher Function. We got our website down below with links to all of our social media. If you're living in the area and want to book us for a performance, please fill out a form and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Once again, thank you for watching this video. My name is Greg. This is Higher Function. Providing entertainment is simple. What we do is based on a higher function, and we'll see you guys next time, all right? Peace.